Hi guys, welcome to a review of Hot Fuzz, which sounds like a porno now that I think about it, but it's not. It's not a porno. It's a British movie. It was on Netflix, and I heard it was good, so I watched it. It's basically like it's kind of a British like parody of like American action buddy cop movies, but it's also kind of like a mystery movie. Jeez, I'm out of breath. I've talked for like 10 seconds. No, 30 seconds, whatever. Okay. God, I lost my train of thought. Unscripted reviews. Ha 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 ha. They're the best. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. The plot is like there's this big city cop played by Simon Pegg, I think his name is. He played a villain in an episode of Doctor Who. He was really good in that part. He was also really good in this role. He played a cop. He plays a cop who is so good that like the police department people actually transfer him out of the big city and into a small rural village that is supposed to be super peaceful. It's won Village of the Year several times, which is actually surprisingly important to the plot, but I'll get to that later. And he goes to the village and everything's calm at first, but like the people of the village like don't really care about the law. Like he goes to the town and goes to a bar and instantly finds like a bunch of teenagers at the bar, and the bar owners just don't care, and he like kicks them all out, and the police chief's like whatever about it. Oh yeah, and then he finds one of the I'm probably giving too much details. I won't go into it, but he gets buddied up with this one cop who's kind of dumb. All the cops are kind of dumb. That's the thing, is this string of murders starts happening. Well, and they're framed to look like accidents, but as they go on, it becomes more and more obvious that they're not accidents. But like the other cops are like blind to see it. Like the other cops just don't see it, and they're pretty gruesome deaths too. Like, never mind. I'm not gonna. I'd rather. I really don't want it, because this is a movie that is best unspoiled. So, yeah, but then the whole, like, first and second act were kind of, it's strange because, you know, when you think parody of an American action buddy cop movie, you'd think it's speedy and, like, action-packed. It's really it gets like that in the third act, but the first two acts are, like, them just kind of moseying around the town, trying to figure out why all these things keep happening, meeting some, and they do a great job of building the atmosphere of the town. As why am I filming it like this way? God, I just realized I'm filming it like horizontally instead of vertically. Oh, I'm a dumb. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna start it over, so whatever. I guess I'll just have to go with this. I mean, or I could turn it around like this, but then I'd have the first 3 minutes of the video being sideways. So, I guess I'll just go with it. Oh God, what was I gonna say? I got distracted by that. Oh, and now, like all my focus is directed to that. Hold on, you know, I'll cut right here, and then I'll cut back with it the correct way. Okay, there we go. I fixed it. This is gonna be weird because like half of the video is gonna be turned weird, but the other half's gonna be like normal. Jeez. But okay, God. Oh, jeez. It's like 10 o'clock. I just came back from a play that I had to go see for theater, but this is not important. The first two acts are like all build up for the big plot twist, which I'm not gonna spoil. Well, I'll spoil it, but I'll give you guys a spoiler warning first and let anyone who doesn't want spoilers, which, trust me, if you haven't seen this movie, you don't want spoilers, to click off. But, like, and after the plot twist, it becomes, like, a parody of, like basically the main character cop, like, storms in and, into the town and takes down the people who are standing in his way. And it's great because everything, the plot twist, I've never seen such a clever plot twist that leaves so few plot holes. Like, oh, that reminds me, I haven't reviewed that game. Dang I was gonna compare it to another big plot twist in another game that I've played. There's a plot that has a plot twist, and that plot twist is big, and for the most part, it covers up its plot holes. I'm referring to this game's plot twist, but there are still several plot holes or like ludicrous things that you're like, there's no way. But Hot Fuzz, like the plot twist explains so much. It like basically explains all the weird cryptic dialogue that goes on because they give this whole vibe throughout the first two acts of the town being like strange, like there's and I kept getting the feeling that there was some secret hidden away, and there was actually one part of the movie where I thought a plot twist was going to come, and then it didn't. Like, the movie waits long enough to throw the plot twist in that you're not expecting a plot twist anymore, and so when it comes, it shocks you. Of course, I mean, the fact that there's a plot twist now is not going to shock you because you're watching this review, but whatever. I can't talk about this movie without bringing up the plot twist. Without bringing up the fact that there is a plot twist. I can talk about it without directly talking about the plot twist, but anyway, back on point. And it's great because the action scene is such a great parody of action movies. Like, he comes in and there's all these funny one-liners, but the great part about the one-liners is they connect back to dialogue that was said in the first two acts of the movie, which the first two acts are like all set up, so that's why they go slow, but then the payoff is so good. The whole third act is like the payoff, starting from the plot twist, and it is so good. Like, before the plot twist, I was like, this is a good movie. I mean, I was still like even without the plot twist part, I would have still recommended it because it was pretty funny, but the plot twist just excels it to a whole nother level. Like, this is a great I love a good plot twist, and this movie probably has the best plot twist I've ever seen in anything ever. The plot twist and how perfectly it connects to everything else. So I think I've said all that I want to say about the plot without going into spoilers. Also the humor. The humor's kind of like weird, slow, awkward humor. It's not exactly like I didn't find myself laughing out loud like really hard. Well, actually, I think I did find in the third act. The third act, everything just gets better. The humor is better, the action's there, and the first two acts are, you could argue they're subpar, but their purpose is not to like be really super into. Their purpose is to kind of foreshadow, and there's so much foreshadowing. In fact, this movie's probably, I haven't watched it a second time, but this movie I'm sure is great for multiple viewings too. Like most things with a plot twist, it's like, okay, you know the plot twist, now it's not going to be as interesting. This will continue to be interesting because there is so much foreshadowing that you can watch it, like, that I could probably watch it like 5-10 times and catch a little detail or a little piece of dialogue that is foreshadowing something that I didn't notice before. And that's another great, so yeah, this is great, this is great movie. Now I'm gonna talk spoiler, so click off. I'll give you a couple seconds. Alright, first off, the plot twist. The plot twist, remember how earlier I mentioned that the village has won Village of the Year several times, and it's super peaceful, and there's like no crime whatsoever. Well, I mean, there's the people in the... Well, there's like no serious crime. Well, that's because the town is hiding a dark secret. The Neighborhood Watch organization in the town is actually like this secret group of like creepy cloaked dudes that, like, every time the Village of the Year contest comes, they're so obsessed with winning it that, like, in the days previous they go around killing anyone who is like who could potentially bring a bad reputation to their town, and they kill for the most petty things too, like Simon Pegg's character. God, I don't remember what his name is. Nick Frost or something. I feel like that was it, but I don't know. I have no clue. He actually confronts the most suspicious character of them all, the store manager, who's very like arrogant, full of himself. He was his initial suspect before the plot twist. And I move my arms like this so much when I'm talking, but it doesn't get caught on camera properly. He was like the initial suspect, and oh god, I hate it when I lose my train of thought in these. It happens when you talk about something like this for a long time. That's why I sometimes stall reviews. Like I watched this a week ago, and I was gonna review it like the next day, but I didn't get around to it because it's just like it's kind of stressful. Yeah, so he confronts the store manager and explains this whole completely plausible theory about why the guy would do this, and it wasn't that. Like the store manager was one of the bad guys, but the actual reasons he did this stuff were petty. Like I think they killed this one guy because he was a bad actor in a play, and then they killed his like this younger woman that he was having an affair with because she had an annoying laugh or something like that, and they killed this one. The store manager actually hit, or one of the characters who was in that the neighborhood watch organization actually, like, their cousin. They took out their cousin because she was gonna move away, and her gardening like plant store or whatever, I don't know what you'd call it, was so like her skills were so good that they didn't want anybody else to have those skills, so they killed it. And it's great because like it just explains so much, like why the town acts so weird, why everybody in town is, why all the like and oh yeah, and the ringleader is the police chief. So that's how they get away with all this. Is the police chief is the ringleader of the whole organization, and they give him a backstory for why he's doing this. Because that way it's not as like crazy as just a group of crazy people in a town that are so obsessed with winning village. Basically, the police chief's wife died. I didn't quite like pick up on this. It was kind of hard to understand the backstory, but like basically the police chief's wife died like the night before a village, and she was dedicated to making them village of the year. This was before all the murderings, obviously, and some like from what I gather, some like gypsies or like hooligans or whatever, just troublemakers came around, and she ended up dying somehow. I'm still not quite sure. They don't make it that clear, but and it drove him to insane. Like before, he was a good like law-abiding police officer, but it kind of made him crazy, like determined to win Village of the Year. So he just how he managed to get the whole town like in on it. Well, not the whole town, but like all the neighborhood, like the powerful group of people in town in on it and committing it. I don't know, but somehow he did. Oh, also, one of the neighborhood watch members is a priest. Like this is how deep this stuff goes. Like it's crazy. But so then Simon Pegg gets out with the help of his buddy cop friend who's kind of dumb, and he's the police chief's son, and he didn't realize any of this was going on. They actually kind of throw you for a loop because like he shows up and he grabs the main character, and you think that he's in on it. And for a while I was like, dang, this is gonna ruin the movie, the fact that he was in on it, because it would add so many plot holes if he was. But like, but then they fake you out, and he actually helps him escape. But then when Simon Pegg offers to the dude that they need to go back in and stop this, he can't bring himself to do it because it's his father that's the ringleader. So Simon Pegg goes, and he's like in a gas station, and then he notices all these action movies on the shelf, and he'd never seen them before because he was so dedicated to his work. And that's another thing. There's actually some character, like he learns how to, like, in the end he ends up staying in the town even though the city wants him back, and he learns how to not be so crazy obsessed with these, because his character is like the typical. His character is kind of like a parody of the typical hard-ass, super, like, tough, obsessed with the job cop that you see in some American movie. American Buddy Cop movies. You got the hard-ass cop and the, like, kind of goofball, dumb cop. That's what their relationship is, but it's done. It's done well. And the buddy cop isn't too dumb to the point where it's like really, but anyway, so he comes back, raids this one dude's like weapon stash. This is this funny gag. The dude who's also a part of that neighborhood and like gets a horse and like goes riding through town with like 10 guns strapped to the back of the horse like a boss. And then the bad guys start coming out, and the whole town just turns into a shoot 'em up, which apparently, which if you watch it, full of one-liners that relate back to full of one-liners that relate back to previous dialogues. That even going like as far back as like the very first moment that he gets there. There's a specific set of one-liners that I like that I'm going to mention. There's an older woman and she's part of their group, and he like is shooting at her, and there's a very early scene, like as soon as he gets there, she's doing a crossword puzzle and she's talking to him, and then she says, oh god, I don't remember what it was. God, it was like Nazi or something. God, I can't remember. I feel like it started with an F. Dang it. I can't remember. But it was some like insulting word, and he thought she was, and she like says it as she's talking to him, like, and he's like, what? And then she explains, like, giving the definition of it in the crossword puzzle. And then he's talking to her, and he says hag, because that's one of the words in the crossword puzzle. So way later in the movie, they're in the fight scene, and she, like, starts shooting at him and yells the word that she had said originally in the first scene that I can't remember. It bothers me so much that I can't remember, but I can't. I mean, maybe I could look it up, but that would probably take too long, because I'd have to boot up my computer. Forget it. God, I really freaking hell. No, it wasn't faggot. Whatever. So she yells the word that I can't remember, and then he starts shooting at her, takes her down, although he doesn't kill her. He actually doesn't kill anyone, which is interesting. Like, he's so dedicated to the law that he doesn't kill anyone in this sequence, at least supposedly. There were a couple characters that he takes out that I'm like, it seems like they died. But a lot of them, like, clearly did not die. But he, like, starts aiming at her, and then he, like, takes her down, knocks her out, whatever. And then he yells hag, like early, which parallels early, and all the one-liners are like this. Like, all the one-liners call back to previous dialogue, and it's just great. There's even a little gag at the end of the movie that's, like, really hard to know, where there was a fake name that people kept, like, making up and making fun of, and then there was a little kid that he runs into that actually had that name, although it's hard to tell, because the kid, like, when he asks the kid his name, like, the kid's, like, I guess the accent or whatever makes him, the accent in his youth make really hard to understand, but, like, it's just a really strong accent, but, and then they just, yeah, and it's just really good. It's just, God, I got completely derailed, but it's just so good. Like, the plot twist just explains so much, and I kept having to pause the movie in the third act just to, like, kind of, like, think about, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Oh my god, that makes so much sense. Oh my god, it makes so much sense. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And not with a freaking kick-ass parody of as soon as he saw those action movies and, like, gets ready to raid the town, I'm like, oh, this was already good, but now it's even better. I mean, it was like, this was good, and then the plot twist comes, oh my god, this is great. And then that moment comes where he decides he's gonna raid the town. I'm like, I didn't think this could get any better. It's the best movie ever. I'd probably put this in, like, a top 10 movies that I've watched. Maybe it's that good. I mean, granted, I haven't seen a lot of good movies. I've seen way too many kids' movies. Disadvantages of having 3 little siblings and no older ones, but it's extremely good, and great for repeat viewings too. Like I said earlier, I give it a I don't always give a rating when I review stuff, but I give it a 10 out of 10, which I've never given to anything before, but this deserves it. Arrivederci! I looked it up. The word I was trying to remember, the one that the lady says to Angel, the main character, I also found that online when I was looking it up. The word that she says in the beginning when she's doing the crossword puzzle, and the word that she says later when she shoots at him, fascist. That's what it was. I knew it started with an F, and like that's why I was thinking Nazi at first, because fascist, Nazis were fascist. It was right there. I was so close, but I just couldn't remember. That's all. I had to fill that out. Arrivederci again.